So for those of you that sometimes sit in a seat and you feel like the message is booming and blasting and whacking at you, recognize that Yahweh doesn't leave the ones doing the speaking out of the equation. The shepherds, the teachers, those in the fivefold are given their due when it comes to messing up and getting corrected. And it starts off right here, woe to the shepherds. And you know that woe is about as strong as it gets when Yahweh's trying to say, you guys are messing up. Israel often was spoiled with abundance, and it just turned them into that complacent, slacking off type of mindset where they didn't do what Yahweh said to do. That's what we have in Deuteronomy, where it says, when you've eaten and you are satisfied and you've built great houses and have all this wealth, don't forget who gave you the power to have the wealth, to create the abundance. Well, why would he say that? Well, because it's likely and possible that you might switch your mindset because of the spoiledness of having the abundance, for being spoiled. We are often finding ourselves in this place where we are discouraged. We are not going forward like we'd like to. We're not seeing results like we'd like to. Or we start seeing ourselves more clearly in the mirror, and then we think, how am I ever going to make it? Look how messed up I am. You look at yourself and say, why would he ever love me and forgive me? Look at all the things I've done. Instead of accepting that he has called you because he does love you and he sees something you're not seeing in that mirror. We have a real challenge with self-worth. Some of us were beaten into, I guess the mainstream does this a little bit, saying that it's not you, it's him, everything is him, so we don't look at self at all. No self-esteem, no self-worth. We're not telling you to esteem self, we're telling you to have self-esteem. Totally different. We're not asking you to elevate yourself and hold yourself out there as being, look at me, how awesome I am. But self-esteem, recognizing that I have value, I have worth because he made me and he called me. And so having that understanding of intrinsic value and worth because of who you are and what you are in him, and that he made you and put you here to do these things that you're doing. I want you to hear Yeshua's voice, whatever that sounds like in your head, saying to you every time you panic and worry, just picture him shaking his head like this and just looking down a little bit going, oh, you of little belief. I don't think any of us wants to hear that. We want to hear, well done, good and trustworthy servant. We don't want to hear, oh, you of little belief. And by the way, he's not doing that because you struggled with a piece of law. He's saying it because you worried and you panicked. Let's just call it 1 for 1. For every hour you worry, you're losing an hour of life somewhere at the end. Probably not that far off. Okay? And think of it as compounding. Maybe worrying just for an hour, maybe it costs you a minute if you like, but if you do it 2 hours in a row and 3 hours in a row, that second hour costs you more. And if it's days, it costs you more. And it's weeks and months, it costs you more. The unresolved stress because you have not done what you need to do to release and relieve that. I was talking to someone the other day about salvation, and if you haven't listened to the Are You Saved series, you need to. And I said there's not a single verse that says that you are saved. They said, no, there is. And he quoted me 3 verses, and all of them quoted the words, shall be. I said, did you notice the key phrase in every one of those verses you read? He goes, no. I said, the word shall be. He who endures to the end shall be. Okay? So salvation's a process. Our expectancy, as Paris said, we've lost our hope. The expectancy that we would be his people. The expectancy that's in the covenant. Because the covenant is based on an expectancy. He expects certain things of us. We expect certain things of him. And that's agreed to in what's called a covenant. He says, you can expect this stuff of me, but I expect these things of you. We're either talking about literally a resurrected David, because David is already dead here, okay? Or we're talking about one who will be standing from the lineage of David in that role of David HaMelech, which is king over all Israel. Because the last king over all Israel was David, then through Solomon, and then the split. And the reason that the part that was preserved, Judah was preserved, was for David's sake. We know this from the way that Yahweh explains it in the splitting. For David's sake, the remnant was left in Judah, in the south. Okay, not for Solomon's sake, he messed it up. So what is so hard? Well, it's hard because you get picked on and because you don't like people noticing you. But you were called to be a light on a hill. You were called to be noticed. Not that you walk around wanting to be noticed, but you were called to be noticed. So he says to the dry bones, I'm going to put my spirit in you. So remember, like when we did the teaching on the spirit, that what is he talking about here? I'm going to put my intrinsic nature in you. I'm going to cause you to grow and transform so that my nature is your nature. So that you'll walk as I walk. That's what Yeshua did, right? He says, everything I do, the Father told me to do. I've seen him do it. This is what I do. I'm an imitator of him. When you see me, you see the Father, because I do everything that he would do. When they see you, they should see Yeshua. They should see the Father.